You've been there, right? A huge deadline is looming, but suddenly, organizing your sock drawer seems way more important. Why do we do that? Well, it turns out it's not really about laziness or a lack of willpower. Today, we're going to dive into the actual science of why your brain is basically built to procrastinate and how you can use that same science to finally break free. It really all boils down to this one question. You've got a tough project on one side and endless scrolling on the other. Why does the easy path almost always win? You might think it's a battle of you versus you, but the real fight is happening inside your brain on a chemical level. And to really get it, let's start with a story. Okay, so let's look at how this plays out in the real world. Picture a young guy just completely overwhelmed. He's got a mountain of work, the pressures of life are piling up, and it's all creating this giant wall of anxiety right in front of him.
So every single time he even thinks about his to-do list, this wave of stress just washes over him. So what's his solution? Video games. And they weren't just a fun distraction. For him, they were a perfect escape hatch. A world where he could win, where the rules were clear, and all that real-world stress just vanished. At least, until he turned the game off.
Now, that choice he made to dive into a game instead of his work, that's not a character flaw. It's actually the result of a super powerful chemical messenger in our brains. It all comes down to a little thing called dopamine. So what exactly is dopamine? Well, you can think of it as your brain's little motivation molecule. It gets released whenever you do something that feels good, and it gives you that little hit of pleasure and reward. It's a brilliant system, really, designed to make you repeat behaviors that help you survive. But here's the catch. Your brain isn't great at telling the difference between a truly productive reward and quick, easy fix.
Okay, so this lays out the two big competing pathways in our brain. On one side, you've got the instant reward path. This is your social media, your video games, your snacks. It's quick, it's easy, and bam, you get a fast hit of dopamine. But on the other side, there's the delayed reward path. This is for finishing that big project, studying for an exam, or going to the gym. It's tough, it's slow, but the satisfaction you get in the end is real and it lasts. But our brains, they love efficiency, so they almost always lean towards the path of least resistance, that instant hit.
And here's the thing, this preference for the easy win, it's not a one-time deal. It actually creates this powerful, self-reinforcing loop that is incredibly hard to get out of. Let's call it the procrastination cycle trap. So let's walk through how this trap actually works. Step 1, you look at that big, scary task. Immediately, your brain registers the challenge and pumps out the stress hormone cortisol. Ugh, nobody likes that feeling, right? So step 3, you escape to something easy and fun. Step 4, that escape triggers a nice little release of dopamine, and you feel instant but temporary relief. And now, for the most important part, step 5, your brain learns. It connects that escape with the reward, which reinforces the whole behavior, making you way more likely to do the exact same thing next time.
The long-term price we pay for this cycle is huge. Over time, you are literally rewiring your brain. That task you need to do, it's no longer just a task. It becomes a trigger for stress, and avoiding it becomes a learned source of relief. You've basically trained your own brain to be afraid of the work.
Okay, so that is the trap. It's a biological loop designed to pull us in. But here's the really good news. Because we understand how it works, we can use that exact same knowledge to take it apart piece by piece.
Right, this is the million-dollar question. If our brains are literally wired to take the easy way out, how in the world do we convince them to do the hard stuff? Well, the answer isn't about just trying harder or having more willpower. It's about getting smart and playing the game with our brain's own reward system.
So how do we start fighting back? First, take that giant, terrifying project and chop it up into tiny, non-scary steps. That lowers the initial stress. Second, get rid of the triggers. Put your phone in another room, make the easy escape route harder to get to. Third, and this is so important, reward yourself for finishing each tiny step. This gives your brain the dopamine it's looking for, but it connects it to being productive. And finally, a great little trick is to start with a small but kind of difficult task. It builds momentum and proves to your brain, hey, we can do this.
And we can work with our brain's chemistry in other ways too. You can get a natural dopamine boost from a quick walk or a healthy meal, which can raise your motivation before you even start. Also, making a super clear plan, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, that reduces the anxiety of starting. And tracking your progress, like checking things off a list, that makes the delayed reward feel way more real and immediate, which your brain absolutely loves. So here's what you've got to realize. These aren't just little productivity hacks. They are actual techniques for rewiring your brain's entire response to hard work. You are actively teaching it a brand new and way more beneficial habit.
At the end of the day, this is the whole game. You're just retraining your brain to value the deep, lasting satisfaction of actually getting something done over the cheap, fleeting pleasure of running away from it. Procrastination is not a character flaw, it's just a biological response. And by understanding that response, you get the power to change it.
So now you know the playbook your brain has been using against you this whole time. You know the moves, you know what motivates it, and now you know the strategies to fight back. The only question left is, what's your next move going to be?